Hello and welcome. My name is Barbie Svetec and I work at the Faculty of Organization and Informatics of the University of Zagreb. Today I'm going to talk to you about inquiry-based learning as an innovative pedagogical approach that you might already be using in your classroom, or you might use this lesson to add something or to enrich your teaching practice. So we talked about the phases of inquiry-based learning, and we said that there are different divisions of these phases, but with some overlaps and also some differences. There was a systematic literature review, which included different papers and research done in relation to inquiry-based learning, and actually prepared a comprehensive framework of 5 general phases. This framework included orientation, conceptualization, investigation, conclusion, and discussion. In the orientation phase, the teacher tries to stimulate the interest and curiosity of students about the problem, introduce a new topic, and define a problem. Of course, this topic doesn't have to be introduced always by a teacher. It can also come from the environment, or it can be introduced by students themselves. In the second conceptualization phase, it's important that students understand the concepts related to the problem and generate research questions and hypotheses which are related to the topic. In the third phase, which is called investigation, students need to search for answers to the generated research questions and hypotheses, and also, of course, plan the research, collect, analyze and interpret the collected data. The next phase is conclusion, when students draw conclusions based on the collected data, and of course related to the set research questions and hypotheses. And finally, there's discussion, when students communicate their results and the conclusions and receive feedback and comments from their teachers, from their peers. But it's also important that in this process, they have the opportunity to reflect on their learning process in itself. Here you can see a quite simple scheme of the phases I just presented. So you can see that we have orientation, and then in blue, and then conceptualization in green, which can include questioning and hypothesis generation, and then investigation, which can include exploration, experimentation, and data interpretation. And finally, conclusions. But you will see on the side that discussion, including communication and reflection, is something that is always present. But as I said before, the framework is flexible and different paths are possible. So sometimes you will start with orientation, but sometimes this won't be necessary because students will already be interested and curious about the problem. And then you'll continue to questioning and hypothesis generation, and for example, go on to experimentation and data interpretation. But sometimes after you already reach the conclusions, you will go back to the, for example, conceptualization phase. So different paths are possible in this process. When it comes to inquiry-based learning approaches, it should also be noted that they can be differentiated based on the intensity of guidance provided by the teacher. So first we have structured inquiry, which is the possibility in which a teacher provides a problem or a question and methods and materials to solve it. Or we can have another option, which is called guided inquiry, in which a teacher provides a problem or question and materials, but students themselves find strategies and methods to solve it on their own. Or a third option is possible, called open inquiry, in which students find problems or questions themselves, then decide on methods and materials themselves, and of course, solve them on their own. So what do you think? What can the choice of the approach depend on? Maybe it could be related to the subject or the study field. For example, if you take mathematics, what do you think? Which kind of the approach would be appropriate then? In subjects such as mathematics, sometimes more structure is needed because students need to be provided with the problem and also with the methods related to solving the problem. After we've heard all that, let's try to immerse ourselves in the process of inquiry-based learning. So let's try to open some research questions. For example, what are the benefits of inquiry-based learning? What are the challenges of inquiry-based learning? What are the experiences with inquiry-based learning in a digital environment? Or maybe your curiosity leads you to other research questions that I haven't put in the video. And maybe we can also already form some hypotheses related to these research questions. So your task now, in line with the inquiry-based learning approach, is to investigate independently responses to the questions that I just presented, or maybe to some other questions that you find relevant and your curiosity leads you to, and then share and discuss your findings in the discussion forum of this course. Good luck!